The debate over free speech in America has taken a dramatic turn, and at the center of it is former Trump Attorney General Pam Bondi. On a recent podcast hosted by Katie Miller, the wife of former Trump aide Stephen Miller, Bondi made headlines when she declared, "There's free speech, and then there's hate speech." This simple phrase might sound harmless, but it carries massive implications. For decades, U.S. courts have upheld the principle that free speech, even speech we may find offensive or hateful, is protected under the First Amendment. The only exceptions are narrow ones, like incitement to violence or direct threats. But Bondi's framing suggests a dangerous expansion of what the government could consider unprotected speech. In fact, she went as far as to say that the Trump administration would absolutely target people who engage in what it defines as hate speech. This statement has set off alarm bells among legal experts and free speech advocates. If the government starts deciding what counts as hate speech, where does it stop? Today, it could be about political opponents. Tomorrow, it could be anyone who dares to criticize those in power. Even conservative Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito once wrote that the proudest feature of American free speech law is protecting the thought that we hate. That principle is now being challenged. Bondi later attempted to clarify her remarks, saying that hate speech that crosses into threats of violence is already a crime, and that for too long political opponents have normalized extreme rhetoric. But her critics argue this explanation is selective, because violent or threatening rhetoric isn't limited to one political side. Her comments raise concerns that this crackdown is more about silencing critics than ensuring public safety. The timing is also important. These remarks came shortly after the shocking and tragic death of Trump ally Charlie Kirk, who was fatally shot while speaking at an event. Kirk had built much of his public reputation on defending free speech, making his killing a rallying point in the wider debate about political violence. In the aftermath, the administration and its supporters have doubled down on punishing what they view as hateful or dangerous commentary. For example, a Washington Post opinion columnist was let go after controversial posts that criticized America's handling of gun violence and referenced Kirk himself. Moves like this are raising fears of a chilling effect, where people may hold back their opinions, not because they're illegal, but because they're afraid of retaliation from those in power. The broader concern is this: even if attempts to prosecute people for protected speech ultimately fail in court, the process itself can be intimidating. Most people don't want to face costly legal battles, public targeting, or political pressure, even if the law is on their side. That fear alone can stifle open discussion and democratic debate. Looking back at Trump's first term, the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division investigated far fewer cases than under the Obama administration. That shift in priorities already signaled a weaker stance on protecting certain rights. Now, with rhetoric like Bondi's, it seems the focus could move toward aggressively policing speech, just not in a way that protects everyone equally. This unfolding situation is more than a legal debate. It's about the future of free expression in America. Who gets to decide what is acceptable speech? And what happens when political power becomes the tool to silence dissent? Stay tuned as this story develops, because the battle over free speech is only getting louder, and its consequences could affect every single one of us. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe to InsightPulse for more in-depth coverage on politics, free speech, and the stories shaping our democracy. Your support helps us bring you independent and clear analysis, free from spin.